This page is the March 2001 issue of Dreamcast Magazine, featuring Phantasy Star Online as its main cover story. The cover showcases impressive artwork of the game's characters in their futuristic armor, along with a promise of an exclusive demo disc. Inside, the magazine promises reviews of Vanishing Point, Euro Super League, Fighting Vipers 2, Skies of Arcadia, and Sonic Shuffle, alongside player guides for Shenmue and Metropolis Street Racer. The overall tone suggests a positive reception for Phantasy Star Online, highlighting its online multiplayer aspect, a typical issue for Dreamcast fans at the time. This page showcases 4 playable demos: SEGA Extreme Sports, Snowboarding, Speed Gliding, etc., Virtua Tennis, featuring Tim Henman, Ducati World Superbikes, and Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX. It also includes an exclusive movie of Le Mans 24 Hours and Fighting Vipers 2. The editor's note addresses rumors of Dreamcast's discontinuation, confirming the end of manufacturing but emphasizing continued game support and the licensing of Dreamcast technology. A bit of a rollercoaster of emotions for Dreamcast fans, I'd say. This page is the March 2001 issue of Official Dreamcast Magazine, issue 17. It's a contents page and previews upcoming games, including Skies of Arcadia, Charge and Blast, Giant Killers, Iron Aces, Sonic Shuffle, Phantasy Star Online, Project Justice, NBA Hoop Zez, Ducati World and Carrier. Reviews cover Phantasy Star Online, Vanishing Point, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, and several racing and fighting games. Features include a reader awards section and a Dreamcast owner's guide with facts, recommendations, and reader reviews. Regular sections cover news, charts, gadgets, and tips. The overall tone suggests a magazine enthusiastic about Dreamcast's future, despite the previous page's acknowledgement of the console's manufacturing end. This page is a double-page spread, featuring a preview of Giant Killers, the first football management game for Dreamcast. It shows screenshots of the in-game menus, including team stats, and a diary. The other side profiles the magazine staff, highlighting their gaming preferences. Games mentioned include Samba de Amigo, Soul Calibur, Tomb Raider, Pro Skater 2, Crazy Taxi, Tomb Raider, The Last Revelation, Fighting Vipers 2, and Star Wars Demolition. The overall tone suggests the magazine's excitement for both the game and the Dreamcast's capabilities. This page showcases character artwork and details for Phantasy Star Online, a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. It features a diverse cast of player characters from around the globe, each with their location and time zone specified. The accompanying text emphasizes the game's global scope and the need for unity to overcome a common threat. The art style is distinctly anime-influenced, presenting the characters in dynamic poses, each with unique weapons and armor. The overall impression is one of vibrant action and international collaboration within the game's world. This page is a full-page advertisement for Phantasy Star Online. It depicts a dramatic space scene with Earth under attack and boasts a world-spanning online adventure. The ad highlights Steve Full-James as a key character, but emphasizes that he's not the only hero. The game's price, publisher, SEGA, and developer, Sonic Team, are also featured. This page is a walkthrough of the character creation and early game in Phantasy Star Online. It shows various character classes, customization options, face, hair, clothes, body shape, and early gameplay screenshots. The guide highlights the importance of leveling up and upgrading equipment. There's also a section on the in-game currency, Meseta, and the game's single-player starting area aboard the Pioneer 2 spaceship. The writer emphasizes the dynamic, real-time combat and the online aspects of playing with others. This page delves into the online gameplay of Phantasy Star Online, focusing on the Raggle Safari forest area. It highlights cooperative play, emphasizing the need for teamwork, since death means relying on others for resurrection. The article discusses the game's 50 quests, ranging from simple fetch quests to more complex scenarios involving missing people and even marital disputes. It also touches upon the online aspects, including server selection, Europe, Japan, US, and the seamless online experience. The magazine also mentions seasonal events tied to real-world holidays. This page is a continuation of the Phantasy Star Online feature, shifting focus from the forest to the caves of Raggle Safari. The article emphasizes the smooth online experience and cooperative gameplay, highlighting the quirky enemy designs, mutant sharks, praying mantises, nano dragons. It details the weapon variety, the unique serial number system for save game security, and the importance of teamwork, particularly in resurrecting fallen players. The reviewer praises the game's fluidity and seamless online experience, comparing it favorably to other online PC games. Screenshots showcase various gameplay moments and character types. Pairing If-I. This page delves into Phantasy Star Online's communication features, comparing the on-screen keyboard's limitations to the speed of preset phrases and the convenience of using a real keyboard. It highlights the game's multilingual support and the simple mail system using guild cards. The article then discusses weapon types, techniques, magic powers, and armor, emphasizing the importance of strategy and teamwork in combat, especially the need for support characters to keep the team alive. Screenshots illustrate various aspects of the game, including character stats and menus. The review concludes by praising Phantasy Star Online's smooth online gameplay, despite some minor control issues, and the frustrating inability to pause the game. The overall verdict is positive, describing the online experience as fantastic but potentially tedious for solo play. Kaku. This page is a competition entry form for the official Dreamcast Magazine Reader Awards 2001. Readers are invited to vote for their 5 favorite Dreamcast games, released between October 1999 and December 2000, and answer a trivia question for a chance to win £500. The closing date was Friday, the 2nd of March 2001. The page showcases numerous Dreamcast game screenshots, forming the number 2001. This page covers the surprisingly robust state of the Dreamcast, despite Sega halting production. The article discusses the upcoming Dreamcast set-top box, developed with Pace Micro technology, and reveals a surprising number of new Dreamcast games in the pipeline, including The House of the Dead 3, a Space Channel 5 sequel, ToeJam and Earl, and Victory Goal 2001. It also mentions Sega's foray into other platforms, like PlayStation 2 and Game Boy Advance, with titles like Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure, and Choo Choo Rocket being developed for the latter. The overall tone suggests a defiant optimism about Dreamcast's future, despite the end of console production. This page features previews of several Dreamcast games. There's a look at Shenmue 2, showing stills from its accompanying movie, highlighting Ryohazuki and Shahua. Wild Riders is showcased, a Naomi 2 arcade game, with a unique handlebar control scheme. Finally, Spawn, In the Demon's Hand gets a spot, emphasizing its roster of characters and multiple game modes. The overall tone is positive, showcasing the breadth of upcoming Dreamcast titles, despite the console's discontinued production. This page is a news and previews section for the Dreamcast magazine. It covers several topics: Angelina Jolie's role in the Tomb Raider movie adaptation, the lack of a sequel to Metropolis Street Racer, and the status of several unreleased Dreamcast games, including Take the Bullet. There's also news on Sega's budget game releases, and the upcoming Virtua Fighter X. The overall tone suggests some disappointment regarding MSR, and Take the Bullet, but excitement about the Tomb Raider movie and other future releases. What? This page features a double-page spread, primarily focusing on Dreamcast game previews and news. The left side highlights Al Pacino's Scarface, an 80s movie retrospective featuring Top Gun, Gremlins, Porky's and Stripes, and a feature on Hollywood rebels like Steve McQueen and Bruce Lee. The right side showcases the Your Most Wanted Dreamcast games list, topped by Sonic Adventure 2, Phantasy Star Online, and Half-Life. Shenmue's movie release in Japan receives coverage, along with brief mentions of Daytona USA 2001, Headhunter, Black and White, Grandia 2, and Unreal Tournament. The overall tone suggests anticipation for upcoming releases, and excitement for both movie and game titles. Peikyo. This page is a double-page spread showcasing several Dreamcast games and a Sega-themed business simulation game. The left side features reviews of Snatch, Southern Comfort, and Seven, along with an arcade test of Sports Jam. The reviewer found Sports Jam to be a unique and fun multi-sport game, despite some flaws like the announcer. The right-hand page focuses on Sega, a strategy game where the player manages a Sega-like company. It's described as bizarre, with a focus on recruiting monster-like developers. The competition element and the setting in Akihabara are highlighted. There's also a section on the winners of a Dreamcast competition, listing several prizes and the winners' names. Finally, there is an advert for Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. This page is a double-page spread featuring HMV's Dreamcast Top 10 games for the month. The left side presents the top 10 games, including Shenmue, Metropolis Street Racer, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, along with their publisher, rating, and issue number. A small chart analysis discusses the pricing of games, especially the success of cheap titles like Toy Racer. The right page focuses on a competition to win 10 Dreamcast games, highlighting the reviewer's personal favorites from previous issues, including Rayman 2, Space Channel 5, SEGA Bass Fishing, Samba de Amigo, and Sonic Adventure. The competition requires answering a simple question about Toy Story. This page is a gadget review spread, showcasing a remote-controlled Ferrari, Nike's PSA Play 120 digital music player, a solid silver chip fork, and a book on retro Japanese handheld games. The Lego AT-AT Walker also gets a mention. The tone is light-hearted, with a touch of ironic commentary on the sometimes absurd nature of some of the gadgets. Pizza reviews are also included, with surprisingly detailed critiques. This page features a spread on Daytona USA 2001. It includes screenshots from the game, showcasing its racing action. The main feature is a vox pop with various people giving their opinions on the game, both arcade and Dreamcast versions, and the online functionality. The overall tone suggests a positive reception of the game's transition to the Dreamcast, although some minor criticisms regarding steering are raised. The article also mentions a karting event held to promote the game. This page features Real Big Fish, a skate-punk band, and their involvement in the Dreamcast game Samba de Amigo. The article highlights their song, Take On Me, a cover of the Aha classic, being featured, and includes quotes from the band members expressing their excitement. The band's UK tour is also mentioned, alongside some humorous anecdotes about their recording process and their relatively unknown status in the UK at the time. FIFA 2000 and SEGA Bass Fishing are also briefly referenced. This page is a preview of Skies of Arcadia, a Dreamcast RPG. The article highlights the game's unique blend of airship combat and pirate movie themes, noting the importance of managing spirit points in battles, and the strategic use of colored moonstones. Screenshots showcase the game's vibrant world, diverse characters like Vice and Ica, and impressive airship battles. The overall tone suggests a highly anticipated and potentially epic adventure, emphasizing its innovative approach to traditional RPG mechanics. This page is a two-page spread preview of Skies of Arcadia and Charge and Blast, showcasing gameplay screenshots and character designs. The Skies of Arcadia section focuses on the game's world, ship combat, and character recruitment, emphasizing the importance of building relationships and making choices that affect the game's narrative. Charge and Blast is presented as a fast-paced arcade-style shooter, with simple controls and a focus on quick reflexes. The reviewer highlights the game's simple yet addictive gameplay, comparing it favorably to classic arcade titles. Both games are described as having unique features and gameplay mechanics, suggesting they will provide very different but enjoyable experiences. This page is a two-page spread reviewing Giant Killers, Football Management Sim, and Iron Aces 1942, Flight Simulator. The Giant Killers review highlights its realistic, challenging gameplay, focusing on the managerial aspects, and its attempt to capture the unpredictable nature of football. Iron Aces 1942 is described as a fun, historically accurate flight sim, though perhaps not overly realistic, with a focus on missions and diverse aircraft selection. The reviewer seems quite positive about both games, although suggesting Giant Killers will especially appeal to hardcore fans. This page is a double-page spread featuring reviews of Sonic Shuffle and Championship Surfer. The Sonic Shuffle review describes it as a party board game with a 3D interactive style, featuring familiar Sonic characters. The gameplay involves card-based movement and minigames. The reviewer seems quite positive, highlighting the fun, family-friendly aspect, and the cel-shaded graphics. In contrast, the Championship Surfer review focuses on its surfing simulation, 10 unique beaches, and real-life surfer appearances. The reviewer is slightly less enthusiastic, noting that the graphics seem a bit basic. Overall, it seems the magazine is keen to appeal to a broad spectrum of gamers, with offerings catering to both party game enthusiasts and fans of sports simulations. This double-page spread reviews two Dreamcast games, Project Justice and NBA Hoopses. Project Justice, a beat-em-up featuring high school students with unique fighting styles, is praised for its quirky characters and innovative gameplay mechanics, including Team UP attacks and a randomly occurring breakup feature. The reviewer anticipates a positive reception, highlighting the improved graphics and the return of the popular Rival Schools gameplay style. NBA Hoops, a basketball game, is described as featuring gravity-defying gameplay, 3-on-3 matches, and a strong emphasis on player likeness and animation. The reviewer expresses excitement for its potential, but is slightly concerned about whether 4 players might be excessive. This page is a double-page spread featuring reviews of 2 Dreamcast racing games, Ducati World and Carrier. Ducati World, a motorbike racing game, is praised for its realistic handling and variety of bikes spanning Ducati's history. The reviewer highlights the inclusion of a career mode and 2-player challenges, but expresses some concern about the potential for oversimplification in the handling mechanics. Carrier, a sci-fi action game, is described as involving the rescue of a ship overrun by zombies and mutants. The reviewer expresses some intrigue, but notes that the game's release has been delayed and therefore cannot yet offer a full review. Several screenshots showcasing gameplay are included for both games. Warrington Nullfire. This page is a full-page advertisement for Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast. It showcases the game's online multiplayer aspect, diverse characters, and vibrant world. The tagline, "You are not the only hero," hints at the cooperative gameplay. Several in-game screenshots are also included, showing off the game's action and visuals. This page is a Dreamcast Magazine spread, featuring a subscription offer for 3 trial issues. It also includes a review section, highlighting games like Phantasy Star Online, Speed Devils Online Racing, and Toy Racer, all emphasizing the Dreamcast's online capabilities. The reviews editor, Ed Lomas, enthuses about the burgeoning online gaming scene on the Dreamcast, calling it an essential part of the experience. The games reviewed receive scores out of 10. This page is a review of Vanishing Point for the Dreamcast. The reviewer, Steve Owen, finds the game to be a surprisingly decent arcade racer, praising its smooth 60 FPS frame rate and comparing it favorably to Sega's own arcade legacy. While he highlights the abundance of unlockable cars, he also notes that some are difficult to handle. The visuals are described as reminiscent of older arcade titles like Screamer, with exaggerated, almost ludicrous environments, and a focus on speed and style. The review includes several screenshots, showcasing the game's distinct visual style and gameplay. Overall, the review is positive, suggesting Vanishing Point fills a much-needed gap in the Dreamcast's library. This page delves into Vanishing Point's additional game modes beyond single-player races. It highlights the rather underwhelming 2-player mode and then focuses on the time trial aspects, noting the game's somewhat confusing design choices regarding the time trial mechanics and the presence of other AI-controlled drivers on the track who, inexplicably, seem to have already completed their laps. The reviewer also comments on the game's visual style, highlighting both its strengths and how it sometimes obscures the track, leading to a less demanding gameplay experience. The inclusion of a developer interview offers further insight into the game's creation and design choices. Games mentioned are Le Mans 24 Hours, Metropolis Street Racer, and 355 Challenge. This page is a double-page spread reviewing 2 Dreamcast games, Vanishing Point and Buzz Lightyear of Star Command. The Vanishing Point review focuses on its physics engine, praising its realistic car handling but criticizing the game's overall design inconsistencies and somewhat confusing implementation of its time trial mode. The reviewer notes a mix of driving styles that don't quite gel, and finds some aspects, like the stunt driving mode, more enjoyable than others. The Buzz Lightyear review is much more positive, describing it as a good, solid action game, with plenty of variety, although noting that it's quite easy. Both reviews include screenshots of gameplay. Warrington. This page is a review of the Dreamcast game European Super League. The review is largely positive, praising the game's atmosphere, impressive stadia recreations, authentic crowd noises, and use of real player names and likenesses. However, it criticizes the game's somewhat haphazard gameplay, particularly the suspect AI, inconsistent marking, and frustratingly random shooting. The reviewer considers it a mutant hybrid of every football game you've ever played, highlighting its blend of features, but acknowledging the significant flaws preventing it from achieving true greatness. Despite these issues, the reviewer concludes it's a decent game, especially for Dreamcast owners who lack a good football game. This page is a review of Spawn. In the Demon's Hand for the Dreamcast, the reviewer finds the game visually impressive, with great character models and weapon effects, but criticizes the awkward camera angles and somewhat shallow gameplay, likening it to a basic arcade experience despite its ambition. The game's blend of styles, from beat-em-up to deathmatch, is seen as ultimately unsuccessful. While praising the variety of characters and weapons, the reviewer ultimately concludes that the game's flaws outweigh its strengths, Comparisons to Power Stone are inevitable, but Spawn falls short of that title's quality. This page is a review of Speed Devil's online racing for the Dreamcast. The reviewer praises the game's impressive online features, including wagering cash on races, customizing cars, and a strong community feel, but heavily criticizes the abysmal handling, describing it as one of the worst handling racing games for a long time. The game's delay between player input and car response is a major point of contention. Despite some great online ideas, the poor handling significantly detracts from the overall experience. The review mentions several named racers within the game's online mode. This page features reviews of The Grinch and Gunbird 2 for the Dreamcast. The Grinch is criticized for its poor graphics, with objects popping up unexpectedly, despite some interesting gameplay ideas. Gunbird 2, conversely, is praised for its nostalgic, classic scrolling shooter gameplay and tactical elements, though its dated visuals are noted. Both reviews include screenshots, showcasing gameplay and specific elements. Tactical. This page is a review of Fighting Vipers 2 for the Dreamcast. The reviewer calls it one of the late 20th century's loudest fighting games, praising its technically accomplished combat system and the variety of characters, each with unique fighting styles and gimmicks. Screenshots show off the game's vibrant visuals and over-the-top moves. The article notes the game's unique setting within cages, allowing for environmental interactions. Characters highlighted include EMI, Barn, Jane, Picky, Sandman, Honey, Raxel, Grace, Tokyo, Charlie, and Marla, and his bigger, boss form BM, each with their own distinct personality and fighting style. The reviewer also touches upon the game's story, which centers around territorial gang warfare. The overall tone suggests a positive review, emphasizing the game's unique and entertaining aspects despite its relatively obscure release. This page features reviews of two Dreamcast games, Fighting Vipers 2 and Surf Rocket Racers. The Fighting Vipers 2 review is largely positive, highlighting the game's unique fighting styles, vibrant visuals, and over-the-top moves. The reviewer even mentions the characters EMI, Barn, Jane, Picky, Sandman, Honey, Raxel, Grace, Tokyo, Charlie, Marla, and BM. However, the Surf Rocket Racers review is scathing, criticizing the game's poor graphics, controls, and overall design. The reviewer finds the water physics particularly laughable, and the game's overall quality is considered utterly dreadful. This page is a review of F1 Racing Championship for the Dreamcast. The reviewer, Paul Presley, finds the game enjoyable but hampered by limitations. The arcade mode is fun, but the simulation mode, while offering more depth, lacks the satisfying car handling found in other F1 games like F355 Challenge. The graphics and damage modeling are deemed slightly underwhelming. Two-player mode is included but options are limited. Overall, it's a decent but not exceptional F1 game. This page is a review of Star Wars Demolition for the Dreamcast. The review is scathing, describing the game as a swamp donkey, and criticizing its limited scope, repetitive gameplay, and underwhelming selection of vehicles. While acknowledging the Star Wars license and some impressive visuals, the reviewer ultimately finds the game a disappointment, comparing it unfavorably to other, better Star Wars games. Characters like Jabba the Hutt, Boba Fett, and various Wookiees are mentioned, and screenshots showcase the game's environments and vehicles. The overall score is low, reflecting the reviewer's negative opinion. This page features reviews of two vastly different games, Toy Racer and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Toy Racer, a charming, albeit shallow, racing game, is praised for its novelty, simple gameplay, and charitable contributions. However, the reviewer notes that its limited content means it won't hold players' attention for long, giving it a pretty good rating. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six, on the other hand, receives a much lower score. Although the reviewer appreciates the game's strategic depth and detailed planning aspects, they criticize its poor enemy AI, clunky controls, and frustrating glitches. The game's strong points are overshadowed by its flaws, rendering it an ultimately disappointing experience, despite its impressive visuals and setting. This page is a review roundup focusing on 5 Dreamcast games. The reviewers, Dan, Ed, and Steve, discuss Le Mans 24 Hours, a highly rated racing sim praised for its realism and length, though the long track is noted as a potential drawback. Looney Tunes, Space Race, a cartoony racer, Capcom vs. SNK, a fighting game, Dino Crisis, a survival horror game, and SEGA GT, another racing game. The overall tone suggests a preference for more accessible and fun games, with some slight criticisms of complexity and length in a few titles. The setting is a pub, adding a relaxed, informal feel to the reviews. This page features a lively pub setting review roundup of 5 Dreamcast games: Le Mans 24 Hours, Looney Tunes, Space Race, Capcom vs SNK, Dino Crisis, and Sega GT. Reviewers Dan, Ed, and Steve offer opinions, with a clear preference towards fun, accessible gameplay. While Le Mans gets high marks for overall quality, Looney Tunes is praised for its charming visuals and surprisingly polished gameplay. Capcom vs SNK is lauded for its classy design and balanced gameplay, though some reviewers find it too niche. Dino Crisis, a Resident Evil spin-off, is seen as an experiment that, while enjoyable, doesn't quite match the quality of its predecessor. Sega GT receives mixed reviews, with some praising its faithfulness to the source material, but others criticizing its handling and lack of originality. The overall tone is relaxed and informal, mirroring the pub setting. This page is a feature article discussing the graphics of Metropolis Street Racer, MSR, for the Dreamcast. It delves into the development challenges and the eventual success of the game's visuals, highlighting the impressive detail and realism of the cars and city environments. Screenshots from the game are included, showcasing the vibrant cityscapes and fast-paced racing action. The article also touches upon the long development time and initial skepticism surrounding the game's release. The author, Adam Phillips, presents a retrospective look at the game's groundbreaking visuals for the time, reflecting on how they were achieved. This page is a detailed case study of the creation of Metropolis Street Racer, MSR, for the Dreamcast, focusing on the meticulous process of creating the game's visuals. It features interviews with key members of the development team, including programmers and 3D artists, discussing the challenges they faced in accurately recreating detailed car models and realistic city environments: London, San Francisco, and Tokyo. The article highlights the extensive research, photography, and 3D modeling techniques employed, along with the use of spline templates and polygon meshes. Screenshots of the game and development software are included to illustrate the process. The sheer scale of the undertaking, 40,000 photos and 40 hours of video footage, is emphasized, showcasing the dedication to realism. The final product is praised for its detailed cars and large, accurately rendered city environments, although some minor lighting issues are acknowledged. This page is a Dreamcast Magazine developer interview with Mike Givens, associate producer of Ultimate Fighting Championship. It features screenshots from the game showcasing various fighters and fight sequences, including Andre Roberts, Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, and Ron Waterman. The interview covers topics such as the fighters' reactions to their in-game portrayal, the development team's influences, Tekken and Tobal No. 1 are mentioned, and the differences between the Dreamcast and PlayStation versions. The article also includes reader questions about the game's realism, difficulty, and the choice of fighters included. This page is a Shenmue 2-player companion guide, featuring Ryo Hazuki and other characters. It provides a complete moves list for Ryo, detailing hand moves, leg moves, throws, running attacks, and combos, with button combinations for each. There's also info on counterattacks and dodges. The guide helpfully indicates which moves are learned, bought, or available from the start. KO. This page continues the Shenmue 2 guide, focusing on extra scenes and missed fights. It details how to access hidden cutscenes by manipulating in-game dates and locations, including visits to specific areas at certain times. A map aids navigation through a tricky section in Old Warehouse No. 8, where Ryo must avoid patrolling guards. The guide also highlights a bad ending, triggered by exceeding a specific in-game date. This page is a guide for the Dreamcast game Metropolis Street Racer, focusing on the online challenges. It provides a step-by-step walkthrough for 3 speed challenges: London, San Francisco, and a 3-city combined challenge, including tips and tricks for navigating tricky corners and maintaining speed. Screenshots show gameplay at key points in each challenge, helping players optimize their times. The guide also explains how to access and submit scores online. This page is a guide to Metropolis Street Racer for the Dreamcast, focusing on the Tokyo Speed Challenge. It features a walkthrough with screenshots highlighting crucial turns and racing lines, offering advice on braking and cornering techniques to achieve the best lap times. The guide also details the cars available in the game, including how to unlock them, and lists bonus items and cheats. The overall tone is helpful and encouraging, aiming to improve player skill and enjoyment. This page offers gaming help and cheat codes for various Dreamcast titles. It includes queries from readers and answers concerning Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, level specifics and fountain draining, Resident Evil Code, Veronica, defeating Alexia, Grand Theft Auto 2, Invincibility and Unlimited Energy, Power Stone 2, item combinations, and Looney Tunes, Space Race, cheat codes to unlock characters and levels. The page also provides cheat codes for Samba de Amigo and Army Men, Sarge's Heroes, along with tips for unlocking movies in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. Essentially, it's a jam-packed troubleshooting and cheat code extravaganza for a selection of Dreamcast games. This page features a Dreamcast Gaming Challenge competition. Readers can submit high scores from Quake 2 iArena, Capcom vs SNK, and Le Mans 24 Hours for a chance to win a game. There's also a section showcasing the winners from a previous month's competition in Virtua Tennis and International Track and Field. This page is a catalogue of back issues of official Dreamcast magazine. It showcases the covers of various issues from number 0 to number 16, highlighting key games featured on each cover, such as Sonic Adventure, Soul Calibur, House of the Dead 2, Resident Evil Code, Veronica, Crazy Taxi, Half-Life, and many more. Each issue's price is listed alongside a brief description of its contents, including playable demos and reviews. There's also an order form for readers to request back issues. A neat little bit of nostalgia for Dreamcast fans, I must say. This page provides a comprehensive directory of Dreamcast games reviewed in the magazine, including details such as publisher, maximum players, online capabilities, video output, issue number, and rating. The games listed are diverse, ranging from racing games like Hydro Thunder and Crazy Taxi, to fighting games such as Capcom vs SNK and Marvel vs Capcom, and even including titles based on popular films like 102 Dalmatians and Chicken Run. There's also a FAQ section, addressing common questions about visual memory cards. The reviews seem generally positive, although some games are criticized for repetitive gameplay or technical shortcomings. Overall, the page serves as a helpful resource for Dreamcast owners looking for game recommendations. This page is a continuation of the Dreamcast game directory from the previous page, featuring a FAQ section for online Dreamcast use. The directory includes games like Rayman 2, Ready 2 Rumble Boxing, and Resident Evil Code, Veronica, with publisher, player count, online capabilities, and video output listed. The FAQ section answers common questions about playing .wav files, DreamKey browser updates, online service providers, and accessing certain websites. The overall tone suggests positive reception towards the Dreamcast's online capabilities and game library, though some criticisms of specific titles are noted. The reviewer's opinions seem to reflect a balanced perspective, highlighting both strong and weak points of each game. This page continues the Dreamcast game reviews, showcasing 20 top titles across various genres. Games like 4-Wheel Thunder, Resident Evil, Code Veronica, Samba de Amigo, and Shenmue are highlighted, with brief descriptions and screenshots. The second half features a FAQ section addressing common Dreamcast online queries, covering topics like the SEGA Lightgun compatibility, online game support, and peripheral issues. The overall tone remains positive, emphasizing the breadth and quality of Dreamcast's game library and online functionality, though individual game reviews offer balanced assessments. This page features reader reviews for several Dreamcast games, including Quake 2 iArena, Shenmue, Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future, and Rayman 2. Reviewers praise Quake 2 iArena's fast-paced online multiplayer and Shenmue's impressive production values, while some criticize its short playtime and lack of replayability. Echo the Dolphin is lauded for its unique graphics and gameplay, despite a somewhat underwhelming storyline. Rayman 2 receives positive feedback for its charming visuals and simple controls. The page also includes a FAQ section addressing common Dreamcast-related questions. This page is a Valentine's Day special, featuring a collection of websites related to love, romance, and dating. It includes sections on love poetry, compatibility tests, gift ideas, and even mail-order brides. Oh dear. There's a fun mix of romantic and slightly bizarre options, reflecting the light-hearted tone of the magazine. It also promotes the Dreamcast magazine's website, highlighting its online community features and updated daily content. This page delves into the surprisingly high costs of game development. The article features interviews with various industry professionals, including artists, designers and producers from Argonaut and SEGA Europe, discussing the average budget for game production $10 million in Japan, £2 million in the UK, and factors influencing these costs, such as licensing fees, like Formula One games, and technological advancements. The discussion also highlights the significant investment in Shenmue, costing $70 million for the Japanese version alone. The overall message is that game development is expensive and depends heavily on the technology available and team size. Games mentioned include Shenmue, Metropolis Street Racer, Crazy Taxi, Sega Rally 2, Samba de Amigo, Choo Choo Rocket, and Red Dog. This page is a double-page spread featuring interviews with various game developers, discussing the escalating costs of game development and the resulting risks involved. The core discussion centers around the rising budgets, particularly noting the huge investment required for technologically advanced games like Shenmue. The interviewees debate whether the increasing costs force developers to take fewer risks, focusing more on safe bets like sequels rather than truly innovative titles. Choo Choo Rocket is cited as a rare successful example of a low-budget game that performed well, highlighting the importance of marketing. The page uses images of the developers with money covering their mouths, a humorous visual metaphor for the financial pressures of the industry. This page is a reader's letters page for Dreamcast Magazine. Readers share their thoughts on Dreamcast games such as Shenmue, Quake 2 I-Arena, Metropolis Street Racer, Choo Choo Rocket, and Virtua Tennis, along with general opinions on the console and online services. The letters cover a range of topics, from enthusiastic praise to complaints about online subscription costs and game bugs. There's also discussion about the availability of online game codes, and a humorous account of a reader's Shenmue-induced phobia. This page is an advert for Cheats Unlimited, a service providing video game cheats and walkthroughs. It features a selection of Dreamcast, PlayStation and other games, and boasts a phone line for accessing their extensive database. The advert also highlights their website for more gaming help. The overall tone is enthusiastic and promotes the ease of access to their services.